Hi guys, this is Allison from Cat Creations, Amish Mindset. How are you guys today? I'll tell you my funny story before I begin. But if you get anything from my work, a connect the dot, an epiphany, a new author to read, a new book to explore, please consider helping me. All help is appreciated and the gratitude is beyond. And I want to thank those of you who have reached out and has helped me. I am still here. No closing date just yet. Still waiting. Don't know how long mortgages really take. Kind of getting a little concerned. I'm trying not to eat up the energy in my house. So I'm not using my hair appliances. So naturally drying, I get Einsteining in here. Anywho. So I just want to put this out there for those of you who are on Telegram in particular. I will message you through my actual page. Normally, I don't message anybody unless you know me personally and know that I'm not a bot. But just now, I had some fun with a bot or a troll or a scammer trying to fear porn, try to sell junk. Knowing who actually identity it was, knowing where they were in the middle of the night here, they're on the road. So I had a little fun with this spammer troll bot, whatever. And I'm like dishing it out to them. I'm like, you need a new act, you need a new script, whatever you're copying and pasting, trying to fear people. It doesn't work. People already know this person whose identity you stole is, oh no, but and then they said the name. I'm like, okay, so where are you right now? And they couldn't answer me. And then I was like, well, what principality do you worship? And then I went down 3 voodoo priestesses, 3 principalities. And no disrespect for anybody who practices voodoo. I think very highly, actually, of the practice. And they blocked me. It was epic. I was very proud because you could pull out the satanic principalities. That's kind of like numbed out by people, but when you whip out the voodoo, ooh, people don't want to hear about those. Oh, they get scared. So yeah, you know you did something right when you whip out that arsenal. Anywho, and I suggest though that if you know that people, myself or others on other channels, if you're in Telegram, Instagram does the same thing. They do it to tarot card readers all the time. They make fake accounts and they want you to buy, sell, and whether it be crypto or get a reading and all this nonsense. Like no one really that is legitimate is going to, they'll send you to an email for correspondence. They'll send you to legitimate pages to do that, to get in touch with them. I use my email. I have multiple emails, by the way. So if one gets hacked, I have more. But I just want to put it that out there. There are people who fall for those kind of scams and those idiots that are not of the light. They're of the darkness. And they're trying to just be greedy. So please don't fall for those things. Play with them so that, I had this person on a roll for maybe a good 25 minutes. I buy in for a little bit, like I make it look like I'm buying into something, and then I'm just like, get a new script. What's wrong with you? Like, do good. Stop, just stop. Why are you stealing people's identities? And then plugging your own nonsense in. I'm like, come on, stop. People know for stop. When you start asking them what principalities they believe in, I was like, oh, you're not into the satanic stuff? Oh, well, let's how about Legba? Papa Legba? How about Dambala? Oh, yeah, that's prayer that you heard during Chucky, Child's Play. Ade Dewey Dambala. Yeah. Yeah, that's real stuff. But they blocked me. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Just don't fall for it, guys. And if you are of wits and that happens to you, it doesn't matter what the site is. If people are trying to sell you something, it's too good to be true. Stop the nonsense unless it's somebody personal that you know that's trying to warn you about something. If it's a stranger that stole an identity in a picture, like, play with them, because other people get dragged in and they don't know, and Telegram is overrun with a lot of that nonsense. So I just want to put that out there, like outwitting people and making them block me. But it shouldn't happen, because that's just utter nonsense and not okay. So today I'm going to be reading the Rainbow. The Phoenix Papers. Last time I left off on El Morya, and I didn't realize there's more of El Morya, but it's in another chapter with a different recording. So I'm going to start there. This one's really good. The last one was really good. And everything has this divine sync to it, by the way. It's the Rainbow Masters, guys. It's such a humongous title. So I do apologize for that. Chapter 16, Recording 1, El Morya. Friday, April 14th, 1989, 6:30 a.m. Wow, that's early. Year 2, day 241. Yes, precious one, you have come to this place at this time, for your work was unfinished. I feel the clutter within as your effort at balancing life, as it were, with thy appointed task. So be it, the way is never an easy path. Ray of dawn. I come in the light of a beautiful golden dawn. There is mist on the land, dew on the living branches, also a new season of growth and birth. I am your elder brother, El Morya, of the ray of dawn, the first ray. I greet you in peace and appreciation for thy labors. You will become more and more comfortable with the cycles of energy, Chila. You must always begin within and move outward. Man always begins outward and moves within, bearing all the dredges and causal pains within to pull him to a lower energies. Start with the godness within, and all will be transmuted in the violet flame of what really is. I became one with the cycles of matter for the mastery of those cycles, almost as it were, going within the heart of matter before going to the outside of matter, growing from within the sun, within the earth, and within the sun, behind the sun. I learned the way of source and source's laws for the inner geometry of the molecule, the atom, the cosmos. Will of God. My appreciation, Sheila's, of that which I do not at first call God or universal source came through the humble awareness, the awesome awareness of this magnificent thing, this thing that is life, this thing that is energy, this thing which is the harmony, this thing that I now behold as the will of Creator Source, the mighty presence of universal allness. Pause. That right there is everything that I speak on. So sometimes I'll call God Creator, Source, the All. Yep. Damn. Back to the reading. The will of God totality is applied in all levels of human endeavor. For the will of God is the blueprint of every project. I just spoke on that, didn't I? It is the foundation of every task. It is the skeleton of your body. It is the physical energy. It is etheric fire. The will of God is your will to be God in manifestation. Without that will, you would not be in this place at this time attempting a magnificent encounter with the task at hand. Because you cannot be expected to function in other nations, other portions of thy planet are thrust in the teachings will be upon the geographical locations where ye are at home. In this instance, America, do not effort at absorbing the whole until thee can master the portion. There is a cancerous substance moving across the mass unconsciousness. Let us just call it anti-will. It is a substance so subtle that the most among mankind do not even perceive that by this substance there is a denial of freedom, a denial not only of the will to be, but of the ability to will to be. Like the weakening of the form, like the drawing away of the very strength of the body, so is this substance moving against the flame, the fiery flame of the will to purpose, the will to perfection, the will to life itself. Man has been all but rendered helpless in his own existence. This is the plight of the evolutions of Terra Macha. Both in East and West, there is that hypnosis, that manipulation of consciousness at sublevels by the substance of selfishness itself, by the substance of lesser will of desire, willing for power, pleasure of self, and manipulation of brother, willing for everything but the will of Source God, which is sufficient to meet all aspects of life within the soul. The plight of modern man is the plight of a false will, a will to death, not unto life, a will to be unconscious, not to face of the issues, not to take of responsibility, but to become drunk by the media, by the chemicals in the food and drink, by the disposition of individuality through the mass mesmerism, a collective consciousness of crowd instead of the individual rising to a self-awareness carved out of the will of a higher beingness. Therefore, Chilas, the heroic problem shall be met in heroic measure, through the same methods of reaching through the subconscious levels of receiving instructions. We have to replant the fertile soil within the subconscious. Relax, Sheilas. The blueprints are well drawn already, beginning to be structured. Pause. I don't really pause during these too much. Everything that was said is absolutely in the here and the now. Everything. The next part is about I come to awaken. But before we get to that, this is called the Great Awakening. This is finally happening. Finally. On a massive scale. Many people subconsciously, unconsciously have been manipulated unbeknownst to themselves. We all, for the most part, no matter, and depending what part of the country and what you are in, we're indoctrinated by being born to two people. And we arranged this stuff, by the way, but this is how it was manipulated by scriptures and indoctrinating books that have falsehoods and falsities being put in front of a television, given video games and more stimulus. This is what's happening more so now. Most of us in our late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s were outside playing and didn't really have too much television time, maybe a little bit on the weekend, when mom was doing laundry and she had to do something. But we got it in school too. They placed a lot of fear and a lot of indoctrination into our subconscious minds. And as a collective consciousness, we are now just beginning to all start realizing the damage done. And that damage could be overturned. It takes time, but it can happen. It's happening rapidly. More and more people are understanding their spirituality. More people are coming to the understanding that they're fractals of God and each other. What I talked about in the last video about your mission and God is everything that this whole thing spiel just went on. The blueprint was already written. Because up there, time, space doesn't exist. It exists here. But up there, past, present, future exists all in one. So they already knew this was going to happen to some capacity in some timeline. Here we are. I come to awaken. I and my brethren come to awake ye ones. I come to shake you to a larger purpose, a larger destiny to which you were birthed. I come to let the disciples, the decibels, shake, rattle, and roll until you hear, to allow the frequencies and vibrations of your beings become attuned now. Finally, let this precious gem of placement and attunement be a place of riling point to move out of the lethargy and sleep of the ages, to awaken this nation to a vital purpose, to awaken the individual to strength and courage, self-discipline, and the will to move beyond this death-like memorism, whereby the people give in so easily to sloth and sleep and sensuality and every form of pleasure, while the world of energy of source, instead of spiraling unto a fulfilling purpose, unwinds down and down and down until there's nothing left but the inertia of the rust of death. This substance, this pall, this pollution that is the very core of the pollution of the elements of your beings is taken from you, your very life flow, that you wander from here to there, accepting that the day brings as though it must be. You ones go about this groggy-headed ways, blaming God for the plight. Surprise, Sheilas, you have made it thus. You must now undo what thee has accomplished. Except that you have done it, and therefore you can undo of it Stop blaming God and brother for thy own plight. The rise and fall of civilization is the work of man, not of Father God. Man has failed to implement the will of God, has failed to contact the very core of being that it is his own. Ye ones must cease of your blaming others, thy parents, thy society, thy teachers, your culture, your civilization. However, ye must make of thy own stand for right purposes and cast aside those things which bring you down. I find myself using the term sacrifice. I dislike the word, but ye have no word to fit of the meaning I wish to convey. Let us instead use self-discipline. Sacrifice indicates a negative giving up of something. You are not in the giving up. There are about to be in the getting of. Sacrifice indicates the perception of pain. There is no pain in carving away the fat of the mortal so that the lean soul of the spirit can fly. There is no pain in the entering into the wondrous beauty of the will of source self. There is actually a moving away from pain that you once have endured as a civilization for centuries of your time. Your souls are in agony, and you have not even made contact with the soul in this life to recognize of its agony. Ye just proceed upon thy path of misery, boredom, and longing for better without acting to achieve better. Discipline. To achieve this better, there are requirements. These are discipline requirements. You must have discipline of self in situation. There is no substitute for self-discipline. It is why we get this child up at dawn to write. We can write at any hour of the day, but she has gained the discipline to get up at the break of dawn to do this work. If she will do this, she will also be available when she is needed and not just when she feels like participating. This is only an example, Dharma. As you begin to manifest control over self, ye will begin to see how ye can manifest any other thing thee wishes, not for the fun of magic, but for the fulfillment of thy accepted tasks, to reveal in thy own fully developed mind control over all matter. This will not be to impress man, for ye will be beyond the wish to impress, rather for thy own expression of truth. It is good to demonstrate mastery, but ye must not be in following of those who demonstrate phenomena as the way, whether legitimately or illegitimately, whether as the white or the black magician. The time has come for mankind to follow the teacher for the truth of the teaching itself, for the very sake of the vibration of truth and life, not mystical hocus pocus. To mesh with the higher vibrations of purpose, you must cease dwelling within thy own selfness, the meanness of all actions. If ye only act for self reasons, ye have not done nothing other than replace one selfish experience for another. And that is what thy brother will emulate, if it be more desirable than his own selfishness. Ye will only have set up your way, not the way of truth, which must be route of transmission from this blight state in which the planet and civilization are trapped. I can assure that all who take the position of seeking freedom from the subjugation of mortality, without exception, have had to first take the step of self-discipline and have given up personalization of input, both from higher sources and worldly physical attachments. Ye must go beyond the conscious reaction to personalized self to come into harmony with that which is surrounding of thy being. As ye have committed unto this magnificent task, I and my brothers of the higher vibrational frequencies will respond to thy call at any moment of any day or night. There is not one soul ever neglected when a call is made. Like attracts like. I go where the call arises. I go where the vibration is located and my presence is felt. Ye are never without guides and protectors in thy work. never, not a moment. That's the truth. Know thee are always in the sight and knowledge of the higher planes. Every thought is known, every action accounted. Naked you will stand before thy God at the conclusion of your sojourn. So it would behoove thee to be a bit careful of thy activities, which you assume to be hidden. It will not be man who stand in thy presence. It is God. Same old story. Do not concern as you become focused within our gaze. All ones have that feeling of discomfort when they realize that all actions are known. Ye have heard of it since childhood, but ye now will begin to feel the presence of the watching. Let me assure you, precious ones, we have seen it all before. All. There is not ye can think of or do that has been seen or done or thought of prior to thee. It is repeated over and over and over and over again in the mass consciousness ad nauseum. We have seen this world and its folly. I have seen the same old plots queued up for the fallen ones, the same old tapes played again and again until they are so old that the tapes of the fallen ones actually sound worn and distorted from the replaying within the inner receivers. It is strange, however, that it is never realized that ye are being subjected to the same old conditioning that ye have heard in your last experience and the one before that and the one prior, on and on. The plots are the same. Very little new literature has been written in thousands of years. If you were among the fallen ones, you would have no need to be creative, as the same few plots work again and again without need of change. Ye ask, how long will ye masters wait while we grow? Well, we have eons to wait in patience, while ye toy and try again it ad nauseum. The question is, how long do you have to wait? We know the hour of our coming and our going. Do ye know of the hour of thy coming and going? Of your own adorning in the womb of time and your moving again through space to other shores? Ponder it carefully, Chelas. Can you be assured that if your task of fulfillment is not accomplished this time, that they can be a next time on this beloved place? It is possible that at some point, all those ones with whom you will experience are also planning to complete their missions upon this place. Will there be a place for thee? Where will thee go to fulfill your inner blueprint? When you are bound to earth, with the attitude toward abortions, birth controlling, and life itself, will thee have a way to come again? You must look carefully within, Sheilas. What are thee about? I mean, what are thee really about? Do you go here and there to be searching, to be entertained, and the best story performance gets the vote of confidence? To look for a reed in the wind? Or are you really responding to the call of the soul for the wholeness, for that harmony and light which you and your very life, your very substance? In this wondrous land where we are focused, you are a people of goodwill. This is a land of goodwill, a land of abundance that has been shared with the nations of the world. Thy people of goodwill have always been infiltrated by those who have come to steal the light of the Christos and of the Mother and of God, himself, herself, itself, and to twist and turn and to torture the children who hold the path of truth. You see, Chelas, they attack in efforts to cause ye one's denial of the light and the goodwill of the God government that was intended to be manifest in this place, in this nation. Reinforce your will. I have come forth to reinforce thy will, thy belief in the higher causes. I have come to convince you for the very essence of my presence, my life, my radiation, that the ascended masters are real. To doubt in their existence is to doubt the existence of your own reality. To doubt the path is to close the door of life. To doubt the way as being shown is to move into death. The sacred Christ's circle declares evermore, I am the open door which no man can shut. Do not give the power to anyone on any plane of existence to open and close the door of your consciousness. Give the power to no one, for God gave it to you to keep unto yourself, unto your real self, in your Christ presence. Do not relinquish of it to anyone, and thereby you will not lose time in the detour of the personality cult consciousness that is filled with Maya and selfishness and manipulation. I contact you for a cosmic purpose to the right the wrongs of civilization, to clear way again the marts of education and culture for the recognition that life itself is a path of initiation, that all of government and all industry and all learning must serve this end to which Christ was born, to which Christ came into the world, to bear witness to truth. Let us then see one by one how ye will eliminate from your life that which does not serve the cosmic purpose of bearing witness to the truth of your own inner reality and your own inner being. Let us see how you will emanate and eliminate those factors and conditionings and rob you of your sleep, rob you of your energy, and keep you on the treadmill of economic survival. You have better consider the survival of your soul and be less concerned with thy status in society. This society will crumble. How will you strip yourself then, day by day, grow beyond those implements and those impediments to the will of God? Let us see how you mark the way of the overcomer. Yes, civilization will crumble unless some among mankind respond with the fervor of the devotee of the will of truth, to hold the balance of America, South, North America. And for all evolutions of this world, some will make the supreme sacrifice, a sacrifice that is not death, but of a total living. Some will build of the structures and foundation of the blueprint plan for transition. I further assure you that the building will be upon the ones in the physical form. It is totally upon your free will. What will be the determination of this age? Truth. This society is crumbling. Right now. Bye-bye. I'm going to put a pause here. Just stick something in there. Many of us have higher callings and have been called to our missions, but everything happens in divine timing. So don't fret if you have not got your calling yet, or you don't know what it is. Do not worry. Don't fret. As long as you're walking in your truth. But here's the thing. Are you walking in the Christ of life? Are you walking in the righteousness? Are you encompassing the Amish mindset? Again, tonight, I made a test challenge, put it in a chat on a page, stating about my circumstances to see the response that people had. And they're still buying into the illusionary world that, oh my goodness, so I put it out there that there should have been a stimulus check to help people that are in dire situations, because a lot of people are in very dire situations nowadays. And they're like, oh, but it's by the tax dollars. So wait a hang. Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's bad. What are you doing to help people feed other people and help people who are in depleted situations? Oh, that's right. You don't have anything to say. And it's not anything against these people, but in a social construct, there are many people arguing points without understanding that they're still trapped in the illusion. It's monopoly money, right? But we still have to play a game in order to sustain at this moment in time. So your money isn't going overseas to killing other people, but you can't feed the people that are here, even if it's an illusionary point of trying to help people. What are you doing to help me? Because my no matter what political party I belong to, it doesn't matter. I reached out to everybody. I'm not receiving help in any stretch of the imagination, besides people that actually watch me that have the awareness to do something. And that's also liking, sharing, and subscribing, because they know people are hurting right now. A lot of people are hurting right now. And I had to put my point across once again that it's been a year that I've lost my job. And it's not for the lack of trying not to get a job. It's for the fact that I'm walking in myself. I'm walking in what spirit wants me to walk through. I understand the illusion, the matrix, whatever you want to call this simulation, but people are still caught up in the illusionary world. And they have to see past. And if you're one of those people, listen, I'm not yelling at anybody. I'm trying to wake you up just as much as this back in 1989 is trying to wake people up. What are you doing today to do something for another person? Because that other person's a part of you. God's expressing itself through everybody, including you. Are you doing the right thing on an everyday basis to help somebody, uplift somebody, help somebody? That doesn't always necessarily mean financially. There's a lot of people who do really good work without financial assistance and doing anything because they have nothing themselves, but they do good deeds on an everyday basis. That's what I'm talking about. No one should have to be saying that they can't eat. Oh, did you go to the food pantry? Did you go and get that? Of course. It's not the point I'm making. People are going to comment and do it in an illusionary way. You can't claim you're awake. And for those of you who don't even know what I'm talking about, don't you worry. There are a lot of people who claim they know what's going on, and there's a lot of underlaying things, and there's a lot of like misdirections that are happening right now. I could clearly see through all of that. And again, is anybody walking in the righteousness to say the truth, to walk in the truth? And I know we're at war. We're in war. We are at war on many levels. So you can't give away strategies and you got to deflect. I get it. I do. I get it. But if we're understanding everything that I'm reading right now, it's time that we stop, get out of this mess, How much longer do we have to continue this cycle? We're on the precipice of change, of making a new cycle, a new chapter. The book ends, and now we have this brand new idea about a new world that we're trying to create. And they upstairs are trying to help us, but we can't perpetually do that if we continue to go in the same loop. Sorry, back to the papers as hair goes in my face. No fairy godmothers. Cast your superstition into the flame of fairy godmothers, and the such of mystical do it for me fancy. There's no way of the miracle that will bring in such a golden time. It is the miracle of hard work, of application of law, and of the science of intuition and initiation. That is the great miracle. And when the sons and daughters of truth say, a miracle has occurred this day, it is the alchemy of the overcomers, always not a miracle. Precious ones, when you work with the works of the Father Source, the masters multiply your effort by the alchemy of the sacred Holy Spirit. But this too is a law, and you can expect your investment in life to return to you with interest. It is the law of abundant life. If, however, you sow a narrow field, you will reap of a narrow harvest. The will is in your hands, for I have already made my determination. You will give answer, for the guardian angel of your presence takes note of the increments of the will. The increments of the will are the all-determining factors of who you will become, whether or not you will succeed in the material or in the spiritual universe. Increments of will determine whether you will live or you will not live in the consciousness of truth, the Father, Source, God. Sheilas, I ask you this question. Are thee ready? Is thy will strong enough? Are ye ready to will it to be so? So be it. And Selah, I place my seal of the first ray upon these words and upon thy heart cells. How will it be? How will it be? It is up to thee. I go now, leaving you in peace to ponder upon thy task and commandment. For, beloved ones, the task is great and always in the beginning, the help small. So be it, for it shall come to pass as written, will thy be in the story. Solin Alam Solin. I am El Morya of the blue light of brotherhood. May the light of love and beauty surround the blessed ones. Changing energies confusion. Hatan here, Dharma. Has been a long session. Thank you, Chila, for thy acceptance. Always I stand by, little one. As the lessons are powerful and the energy almost to overload, you will be fine. Take time to come again into thy own balance and gentleness and perhaps solitude. The lessons are of utmost importance, and the teachings must have entry unto you ones in consciousness. We are melding of the subconscious teachings of thy sleep dream time into thy awakening consciousness. The lessons learned on a higher plane must now be brought into usable format of conscious thought and acceptance. So be it, and strength of understanding abides with thee. I am that I am thy Father Atan of light. So be it. And I place my hand upon my heart in blessing, little ones of mine. Ye shall be given unto understanding of truth and the strengthening to fulfill of thy purpose. It is so, it is done, and ye will prevail, for I decree it to be so. Adonai. That was profound. And if you go back to my other video, Spiritual Soul Advice, If you follow my Amish mindset, where do you see yourself? And we're human, by the way. So we're not perfect. We're not perfect. There's I forgot the medium's name. It's a really good book. It's about do this dead see you in the shower. But they're not judging. They don't care. They see your soul. They're not looking at your physical body going, oh, baby, what's going on down there? They're not doing that. They don't really care. They're looking at what you're doing and how you're thriving, what you're doing for humanity. What are you doing for yourself to advance yourself and your studies and your soul and your growth? We're not perfect. And again, we all learn from doing and experiencing. So if we make a wrong, we learn from that mistake and we do it better the next time, or we keep repeating the cycle until we get it right. Karma, good or bad. I'm going to read one more of Morya. I don't know how long this one's going to be, but I'll probably leave it because that one's really long. And then I had some of my input, just putting that out there. Chapter 17, recording 2. Morya, Friday, April 14th, 1989, 1 p.m., year 2, day 241. Thank you, Dharma, for it will be good to have my portion finished this day. Mine is not to overload, but there is so much to be brought forth in these early stages of our becoming balanced, one with the other, that we may stay right with the task. It is our intent to pull away from all forms of religious doctrines, the new concepts of what you call metaphysics, political boundaries, creed differences, color differences. We are one brotherhood, no more, no less. We are only interested in bringing forth untainted truth, that we might serve our commitment and commandment in the truth. Ascended Master right there. Wow. Damn. Orphans of Spirit. The orphans of the Spirit are our concern. Those who, without the thread of contact with deity, remains wedded to an unwholesome environment. Those to whom the real purpose of life is never revealed. For the crystallization of their intellectual concepts and hardness of their hearts stay rooted in selfishness. Do not open the cosmic doorway to our domain, of that of the cosmic brethren, who also come only to serve and assist. So many are the mysteries of life, so many are the powers of love, yet the dust seems to be more their choice than is the destiny of their ordained potential. The veil of obscurity is very, very heavy indeed. While man's concern for his ecology mounts, what shall I say is happening to the soul within? The moral standard, recognition of the plane of spirit, listening to the music of the stars and the spheres, creating that tie of cosmic identity, which is the fort of the will of God. These are the strong banners we rise. These are the banners which must be raised. We must take careful and attentive note of the widening schemes, the deliberately maneuvered divisions being created through the dichotomies of mind and spirit in the total world of order today. It is my desire to speak from our higher level concerning our viewpoint and intent. Those who would set people against people, those who would point the accusing finger of one religion over another. By doing so, create that fracture in consciousness, which is a destructive negative spiral. No secular alliance. It is well known upon thy place that there are in the world millions who are labeled left wing, other millions labeled right wing. There are others who choose in some degree of human pride to choose of the position in the middle of the road, so to speak. Let it be understood that we do not wish and do not espouse any of these causes. The magnitude of importance of our service is such that we cannot identify ourselves or our efforts with anyone confined in a secular slice of opportunism. We tend to not favor any of these positions, but rather to recognize the whole spectrum from right to left, including the middle. Always the truth seems mingled with error. Ours is not to create division, but rather our goals are sound and strengthening to the whole and the human spirit. We recognize that there are virtuous causes across the whole range of human endeavor, but there are many that are unvirtuous, unrighteous, deceptive, and wrongly motivated. We will not identify with any, for our purpose is not to be popular, but to be truthful and to embrace those spiritual causes which will enable the soul itself to expand its individual life. I do not deny that the poor, as Jesus said, are with you always. I do not deny man's right to fulfill those social needs, which to some have become a way of spiritual service. Likewise, we clearly see that among the traditions of men, there are many of virtue, albeit sometimes sagging, that ought to be upheld. But where shall we position our timbers of support? We cannot identify with the right or left, and we cannot identify with the middle of the road, so be it. Even as we write truth and error slide, the human jackal of division has man in derision. The powers of darkness laugh as people espouse this cause and the cause in radical ways. Others are at the center of total non-ness, lukewarmness, and take no stand at allness. They would not wax hot nor cold, so be it. The soul's salvation is not served by social reform, nor is it served by opposing social reform. The progress of man can be accented if it is first set in the right direction. May I point out how this can best be done? It is reasonable to suppose that there are many things of spiritual nature unknown to men, and divine revelation has not yet closed its mouth of uttering the great fiat of the word. There are those who actually think religious tradition is complete, and the man has but to go about the gentle and yet sometimes not so gentle business of attaching labels to various people and various groups. These labels are intended not to liberate, but rather totally confine. When the man of honor sees clearly, he will know that both social reform and opposition to social reform have their own ways of sapping his totality of energy. People feel the need to espouse one cause or another. Those who are of radical nature find niches and comfortable radicalism in varying degrees to the right or to the left of center. How one radical can condemn the other is difficult to understand in the light of spiritual knowledge, yet it does exist in widespread opulence. Spiritual knowledge is the highest knowledge and takes into account the total compass of the brotherhood of man. Therefore, if we make a pronouncement that seems to sanction one or the other, it becomes the garment of truth, must run the whole spectrum. Truth knows no man boundaries. The choice then is to render the greatest service to all men and women upon the planet, wherever they appear on the social scale. From the poorest to the wealthiest, from the weakest to the strongest, from the most unspiritual to the most spiritual, from the foolish to the wise. We must serve them all, and unless we do, we have fallen short of our divine office. As a spokesman for the will of God, the first ray, I do not believe the division is the divine intent. I do not believe that manipulators do not exist in the world. I know that they most surely do exist. To the total degradation of mankind. What we need most is honor, and those who espouse such honor should be it that the textbooks of the world, the magazines, radio, motion pictures, and television programs, and all media should honestly present to man all sides of the question. How time does not have any credence upstairs, because what is happening in our world right now? Oops. Man should not become so enamored with this environment that he loses touch with his soul in the process of egotistically molding his environment. Rather, he should understand that the opportunity for life, which he sometimes wears solemnly, and then again unceremoniously, is his God-given right, one through which he may, if he will, obtain self-control to become the master of his own destiny. In truth, man can rewrite. In truth, man can be the God of his own universe. He can supplement his desires with reason and can transmute and direct the total course of his being for either positive or negative purposes. Man must be patient and loving with himself, for it requires digestion of information to be assimilated and properly utilized as fuel for his system. Children of primary concern. We are primarily concerned with the children of your species, that they will be given an opportunity of expanding the richness of the universe, the abundant life, and the knowledge accumulation to which they are rightful heirs. When religion, however, becomes a gambit to be used by one group against another, with jealousy increasing rather than decreasing, we think of the fable of the fox and crow, how the crow held the cheese in its beak. Then, with flattery, the fox introduced the crow to speak. The cheese fell out and was devoured by the fox, and the crow did not have any of which to partake. All over the planet, nation is against nation against themselves. Religious groups kill and maim their brethren in the name of God and Christ. There is no such thing as Christianity practiced anywhere upon thy place. So be it. As long as there is judgment of man against man, there is no such thing as Christianity. Truth. Sorry. It's true. World order does not provide nor allow proper training of its young. There is too much recklessness and wild abandon, too much deceit and personal motivation, devoid of honor. This is the example they experience each moment of their existence. These are the images burned into their very consciousness from every sector of their lives. If they are given nothing of purity and truth to emulate, they emulate that which they do vision and audibly intake. It can be no other way. As we begin to thrust forth better events and visions for emulation, the Dark Brothers will cast about wildly an effort at stopping the growth. However, remember, darkness cannot create. Only the light can create, and darkness has no existence in light. So be it. As I bring to a close this message at this time, please accept in it with the love and intent given. I'm here to assist in the gaining of the will that our task may be complete in honor and integrity in the most timely manner. I bring only strength and goodwill to all men, all creeds, all nations, and all colors of man. May our Father, Mother, Source magnify that Christ's unity of an unbroken, infinite circle and reality born of no winds of delusion and fanned by no fanatic fires, but clearly indicative of the whole spectrum of the consciousness of great white brotherhood sacred councils, which hold the truth above all. For either in the service of the mother, father, source, and truth through divine will, I am Morya. May our work in unity be blessed and fruitful. So be it, as I place again my seal upon these words. Adonai Chilas, Adonai in the light of truth, balance, and harmony through love. Let it be known that I am that which I am, the first ray. I am Morya. I know not too many people actually watch this particular reading that I do. But as we keep going in these sessions, you can't deny any of this. You can't. It's the truth. Kids are being indoctrinated at every level, at every moment of the day, and it still goes on and continues. Now people are pulling their kids out of school. Now people are starting to wise up with what is allowed in the school system and knowing what books they read. But my generation and generations before that were tainted. Now, just now, we're waking up to this when these words were written a very long time ago. It's really sad. It really is. And it needs to stop. We all need to come to an acceptance. I can't even put any better words to what was just spoken. But comparing it to the other videos that I have done about Amish mindset coming together, stop looking at people like me. I'm an expression of God, just like Morya is an expression of the will of God, and is telling you exactly in similar and differentiated words what I've been saying. And I've been saying this stuff my entirety of my totality of essence in this avatar. I'm not crazy. Everybody should want the best and the brightest of this world to shine. How can it if it's so divided? Everybody's fighting. Everybody's just taking a lackadaisical stance at human suffering. Because it's not on a grander scale doesn't mean any less that somebody's hungry, that somebody's in poverty, that somebody's in desperation, screaming for help. And people just idly by, not doing much. There's plenty we have to do. And some of us already started doing the work. I hope more of you jump on. And that's not a judgment. That is just calling a spade for what it is. We now have to realize we have to get out of the system. It's going to be broken anyway for us. They're working on it. Because we couldn't take heed of these words because it was hidden from us. The evil people hid these things from us. Those very enlightened people, very few and far between, were reading these passages back then. They were trying to get this out to more people. I'm sure they would. It's very important, whether not all of these channelings do I agree with, but the last two sections that I read, every word is the truth. So just take that into account. Sending each and every one of you love and light. We have to do better. And I keep saying that. And I know more and more people are starting to do righteous things for other people. Amish mindset, what are you abundant in that you can uplift somebody today? And it could be as small as a click. That's it. And if you make a habit of doing that every day for somebody new, some may be a stranger, you don't know. Today, I can't tell you how many people I've been trying to reach, how much energy I expended trying to like move the storm away from friends and family, trying to lessen it. But I've been praying and bubbling over everybody, and all of them made it out okay. I'm still waiting on a few. But that's what I was doing. Every day I am doing something on an energetic spiritual level or in a physical level, helping every day. Make it a habit of doing something that uplifts somebody. It takes a second. Make it a habit. We're never going to get where we need to be if we're all stagnant in watching the news unfold, but not doing anything about it. Not actually doing the work that needs to get done. These words have to get out. It doesn't need to be through me. It could be through anybody. If you'd like to help and support my work, the links will be linked down below. I thank everybody who has supported my channel, who has liked, shared, and subscribed to multiple videos. I really appreciate it. That makes my day because that shows that more people will be able to reach this work. And it's not through me. Remember, I'm just a messenger of God. I'm a channel from the spirit. I'm just a vehicle they're using to get the word out. That's all I am. I'm not special in any way. I'm just like everybody else. But I'm a messenger, and I'm here to give messages through literature, books, channelings that they deem to be relevant, that need to be looked upon more so than ever right now. So please spread this as far as you can. Although not perfect, my teeth are about to fall out. Yep. Keep the faith, walk in the light, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye.